He's out of town? That's okay. He deserves it.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't wait till after this week.
Yeah. Oh, well. I think he's out of town. Yeah, I didn't either. I think he told mine. Where's Robert? Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors meeting. The meeting has been called to order. Time is 9:09. Please join me for a moment of silence, silent reflection, or silent prayer. Thank you so much. Supervisor Rickman, would you lead the pledge, sir? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chairman.
Madam Clerk, can you please do the roll call?
Thank you. Supervisor Gardia,
Present.
Supervisor Ding,
Yes.
Supervisor Rickman,
Here.
Chair Dhaliwal,
Here.
and for the record, Supervisor Canepa is absent today.
Thank you. We have 5 recognitions this morning. Madam Clerk, can you please start with the first one?
Thank you, Chair. Our first recognition is the proclamation of February 2026 as Civil Grand Jury Appreciation Month in San Joaquin County. And I'd like to invite Denise Snyder, Bruce Frank, Nancy Brisson-Moll, Judy Prima, and any other members of the grand jury who are here today to the podium, while I ask my Chief Deputy Clerk, Chelsea Breitenbooker, to read the proclamation in lieu of a lingering cough.
whereas grand juries are crucial components of California's justice system, and whereas, like other California counties, San Joaquin has a grand jury composed of individuals who dedicated their time for a full year to serve in the grand jury system, and whereas the primary duties of the San Joaquin County Grand Jury are to investigate and to report on local governmental operations to assure that the responsibilities of these governmental entities are being fulfilled efficiently, honestly, and in the best interests of the public. And whereas the California Grand Jurors Association and local chapters strengthen juries statewide by providing trainings, tools, and techniques to assure that each jury operates under the same standards of efficiency and integrity to which they hold local government. And whereas it is appropriate to provide a designated opportunity to recognize the efforts of those who have volunteered and continue to volunteer their time and service to advance the work of the San Joaquin County Grand Jury. And whereas the reward of being a grand juror is the satisfaction received working with fellow residents of the county to improve local government for all. Now therefore be it resolved that the San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors does hereby proclaim the month of February 2026 as Civil Grand Jury Appreciation Month in San Joaquin County, presented this 10th day of February 2026. Chair?
Welcome. Who would like to say a few words? Christine?
I'm Christina Rocket. I am this year's foreperson. On behalf of all of us here in the CGGA, I'd like to say thank you, that it is an honor for you to recognize us. I'd like to say that my time on as being a foreperson has been very meaningful for me. It's a great opportunity to get to know. I'm sorry, I'm fighting a cold right now, so my head is kind of it's kind of foggy right now. But thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Denise Snyder, and I'm the president of the California Grand Jury Association. And all of our members are, of course, former grand juries, as well as the jurors that are here with us today. It is an honor for the Board of Supervisors to give us this proclamation and to let the community know how important the grand jury truly, truly is, and what it means to our county, our communities, our cities, and all of our citizens. This is important for us to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep looking after what's going on and making sure that we have a government in our county and in our cities that is run for the people. And that's why we appreciate this so greatly, and we really thank you for this proclamation, all of the supervisors.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, and thank you so much for everything that your organization does, and thank you for holding us accountable. Supervisor Gardia?
I just want to commend all the volunteers who step up and do this noble act of service to make our community better. And I know what it takes to, you take time out of your lives to do a good thing to make sure accountability is held. So I just want to say thank you, and glad you have a month.
Vice Chair Dane?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your service. Continue to ask the tough questions. Don't stop. And we do appreciate your service. I had a couple jokes, but probably not a good idea. And since it's Grand Jury Month, you can have the rest of the month off.
Oh.
Supervisor Rickman?
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning, and, welcome to the Board of Supervisors, and thank you for the job that you do. And I don't think, most people realize how much work that you all put in. It's not, just a couple hours a day. It's, during investigations, it can be, over 40 hours. So taking the time away from your family and, and dedicate your time to San Joaquin County, we appreciate it. And I know this board, we received the investigations, once they're finished periodically, and, it just shows how much work you guys put into it. So again, thank you for your time, thank you for your service, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Would you like to join us here for the picture or want to stay on the dais? On the dais? Christina, please.
We'll go here first and then with potty.
Michelle, let's start with number 2.
Thank you, Chair. Next is the proclamation of February 2026 as Black History Month in San Joaquin County. And I would like to invite Bobby Bivens, President of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, to the podium, as again our Chief Deputy Clerk reads the proclamation.
Whereas the County of San Joaquin is proud to celebrate the many achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development. And whereas historical records show that African Americans have contributed to the history of San Joaquin County since its founding in 1849. And whereas Black History Month grew out of the establishment in 1926 of Negro History Week by civil rights advocate and historian Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And whereas the observance of Black History Month calls our attention to build a society that lives up to its democratic ideals. And whereas the County of San Joaquin continues to work toward becoming an inclusive community in which all citizens, past, present, and future, are respected and recognized for their contributions to our community, the state, and the world. And now therefore be it resolved, the San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors does hereby proclaim the month of February 2026 as Black History Month in San Joaquin County and encourages all citizens to unite in celebration of our diverse heritage and culture and continue our efforts to build a just, inclusive, and prosperous community for all, presented this 10th day of February 2026. Chair.
Thank you so much.
First of all, I'd like to say, Chairman, thank you, and to the board members. I appreciate on the behalf of the residents of the county of San Joaquin, I was about to go to my old county, for this recognition. And it's extremely important to our county, to our community, and to America. Many of you may not and probably don't know many of the contributions that African Americans have made to this country, We wouldn't even be in this room if it were not for the invention of the elevator. So we'd be down at the bottom floor, if here, in here at all. You wouldn't be dressed up, your clothes wouldn't be ironed, we wouldn't have fresh cold food because you wouldn't have refrigerators. Well, your car wouldn't run because you wouldn't have the ability for the car to accelerate. You wouldn't even be able to play golf because you wouldn't have a golf tee. So as we look at the contributions, and there are thousands of them, some that the individuals that created them received the recognition, and many more that did not. The country in itself, our war machines, our everyday lifestyles, the things that we do have been because of the developments that have been made by African American people in this country, the food we eat, the lights that we have, the stoplights, all of those things are contributions. And so as we go through life, we don't really think about that too often as to how did I get this lighter? How did I get this cell phone? Because this is a contribution of a Black woman. So as we just go through life, we take things for granted. And then some folks think, well, we don't want those folks in this country, and we don't want this, and we want to do that, and all of these kind of things, not recognizing that had it not been for African Americans, a lot of the luxuries, the ability to live in this day and time, to ride, to travel, were made because of contributions of African American people. So I want to thank you on behalf of our forefathers and contributors. I want to thank you on behalf of the people that have struggled in America to bring all of us, not us, all of us, to where we are today. And so Black History Month is American History Month, because every American and folks that are not Americans yet have been the benefactors of contributions that have been made by African American people. So on the behalf of all of those folk, myself, our local branch, Sister standing with me, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you so much for being here this morning to accept this proclamation. Supervisor Rickman?
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Bivens, welcome. Good to see you again. And hey, I thank you for your words. And I encourage everybody to look at their local cities. I know there's a lot of different events going on this month, and to educate yourself and look at the history of this great country. So again, thank you, and God bless.
Well, thank you.
Vice Chair Ding?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My friend, Bobby Bivens. First off, I want to thank Katie Poole. She had a post on the county website. It's always nice to learn something new every day. I went to STAG. I was the first year of busing when it started, but I had no idea about Emmanuel Quivers, who was born in 1814 and started the kind of desegregation of the schools 150 years before I stepped through those doors. So I appreciate you being here. It's always nice to have your words of wisdom. Sometimes loud, sometimes we don't agree, but you got to stand on principle. You got to stand where you're at. So, and I appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you.
Supervisor Gadia?
We're all lucky to be living in San Joaquin County. I mean, San Joaquin County is the melting pot. I went to Franklin High School, and I'm glad I graduated Franklin High School because it exposed me to a lot of different cultures that I had no idea. The different foods and just the different religions, and we're very lucky. And I'm glad we, honestly think we need more than a month because there's so many African Americans have made impacts in our history that have changed the direction of this country. So thank you for all you do, and appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Board members, can you please join us? Mr.
I just wanted to stand with you.
Rochelle, next one, please.
Thank you, Chair. Next, we have the proclamation of February 11th, 2026 as 211 Day in San Joaquin County, and I would like to invite Tiffany Foxe, Chief Operating Officer for the Family Resource Referral, to the podium, as again, our Chief Deputy Clerk, Chelsea Brighton Booker, reads the proclamation.
Whereas every hour of every day, people need access to essential services such as good assistance, food assistance, housing, and shelter assistance, utility assistance programs, counseling services, medical and dental care, senior elderly support, employment help, transportation services, abuse prevention services, and child care assistance. And whereas the 211 Information and Referral Call Center at the Family Resource Center provided support to more than 86,051 residents in San Joaquin County in 2025 alone, including over 88,516 referrals to callers seeking assistance for health and economic resources. And whereas 211 is a free and easy to remember telephone number that connects people with life-changing resources 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in over 250 languages. And whereas 211 San Joaquin is in its 10th year of making the social services ecosystem more efficient in San Joaquin County by ensuring hundreds of thousands of people in need are connected to agencies that help from them. And whereas 211, in partnership with the San Joaquin County Office of Emergency Services and Public Health Services, provides disaster and health responses for San Joaquin County residents. Now therefore be it resolved that this San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors does hereby proclaim February 11th, 2026 as 211 Day in San Joaquin County and recognizes the tremendous service the 211 helpline provides in connecting callers to much needed resources. Presented this 10th day of February 2026. Chair?
Thanks, Chelsea. Ma'am, please.
Good morning, Chair and members of the Board of Supervisors. My name is Tiffany Povisai. On behalf of Family Resource Center and 211 San Joaquin, thank you for this proclamation and for recognizing the vital role that 211 plays in our community. We are deeply grateful for your support and for your continued commitment to ensuring residents have access to critical information and services. 211 is often the first call people make during some of the most challenging moments of their lives: housing instability, food insecurity, health concerns, or recovery after a crisis. Through partnerships like the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance VITA programs, 211 helps with scheduling individuals and families to free, trusted tax preparation services, ensuring that they can receive their full maximum refunds, credits, and financial relief that they have earned. This proclamation not only honors the work of the 211 system, but it also sends a powerful message to our community that help is available, that no one has to navigate these challenges alone, and that this board values connection, equity, and access to care. We also want to acknowledge the dedicated 211 staff who answers the calls, provide guidance, and connect individuals and families to the resources they need with compassion and professionalism every day. This recognition belongs to them as well. Thank you again for elevating the awareness of 211 and for your leadership in strengthening the safety net of our community.
Thank you so much, and thanks for everything your organization does to protect our community. We really appreciate it. Supervisor Gardia?
It's not 911, it's 211. And I think, when we have the options for, not to get out EMS and fire to go out to these calls, there's an option that we have a team behind the 211 that gives the opportunity to take advantage of the type of resources that we have. And I just appreciate it takes a team to get it to accomplish and provide good help to the people that need it. So I just want to thank you guys and everybody that's on your team.
Thank you, sir. Vice Chair Dane?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for your service. 211, I can actually remember. And it is nice. I mean, there's so many agencies and so many programs to help. When you get, blindsided on the street or in a grocery store and somebody, brings up a concern, something they need help with, you've been a valuable resource to me too. So thank you.
Supervisor Rickman?
Thank you, Chairman. And, thank you for being here to bring awareness to the 211 or 211. And, thank you for what you do on your staff. I know a few years ago, I took a tour of the facility and, it's quite impressive. And, when life gets complicated, 211, makes finding help simple and, helping people get back on their feet. So thank you for what you do. God bless.
Thank you, sir. Please join us.
Thank you, Chair. Next, we have a proclamation requested by Supervisor Gardia of the First District to proclaim February 2026 as Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month in San Joaquin County, and I would like to invite representatives of Prevail to the podium, as again, Chief Deputy Clerk Chelsea reads the proclamation. Thank you.
Whereas teen dating violence is a serious public health issue that affects the safety, well-being, and future of youth and young adults in San Joaquin County and across the nation. And whereas teen dating violence can include physical, emotional, psychological, verbal, sexual, and digital abuse, often involving intimidation, isolation, monitoring, harassment, coercion, or controlling behaviors. And whereas, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, teen dating violence remains a significant concern among high school students, with 8.5% reporting physical dating violence and 9.7% reporting sexual dating violence in 2021. And whereas teen relationship abuse is often underreported, with many youth unsure of what constitutes abuse, fearful of retaliation, concerned they will not be believed, or unaware of where to seek help. And whereas education, prevention, and early intervention efforts are essential to reducing teen dating violence and empowering youth to build relationships based on respect, communication, safety, and equality. And whereas teen dating violence awareness efforts remind our community of a simple truth: love should never hurt, and every young person deserves a relationship free from fear, control, and harm. And whereas San Joaquin County recognizes the importance of community partnerships, including schools, parents, youth-serving organizations, law enforcement, behavioral health professionals, and survivor advocacy organizations to ensure young people have access to prevention, education, and trauma-informed support. And whereas Prevail, San Joaquin County's provider of survivor services for domestic violence and sexual assault, serves 6,071 clients, including 1,976 minors and young adults under the age of 25, demonstrating both the ongoing need for prevention education and the critical importance of youth-centered support services. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim the month of February 2026 as Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month in San Joaquin County, and calls upon all residents, schools, community-based organizations, and local partners to join in raising awareness, promoting healthy relationships, supporting prevention efforts, and ensuring that all youth in San Joaquin County can grow up safe, empowered, and respected. Presented this 10th day of February 2026. Chair.
Thank you, Chelsea. I'm going to turn it over to Supervisor Garcia.
Actually, I'd like to hear from you first.
Thank you. Good morning, supervisors. My name is Stephanie Player, and I am CEO with Prevail. On behalf of Prevail, we are deeply grateful for this proclamation recognizing February as Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month here in San Joaquin County. Your leadership today sends a clear message that safety and the well-being of youth is a countywide priority, and that prevention begins long before harm escalates. As we step into February, our hearts are focused on a vital mission. While the world is preparing to celebrate Valentine's Day, Prevail is looking deeper. February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, and our campaign is dedicated to empowering the next generation with the tools that they need for healthy, safe, and respectful relationships. I want to share that teen dating violence affects young people across all communities, regardless of their background or their zip code or their circumstances. National data show that about 14% of high school students report experiencing physical or sexual dating violence in just the past year, and many more experience emotional or psychological harm. For many survivors of intimate partner violence, abuse begins during adolescence, often before they have the language, the confidence, the tools, the skills, or support to identify unhealthy behaviors or even seek help. In fact, emotional abuse is one of the most common and least recognized forms of dating violence among teens. Early intervention and prevention are critical. When young people learn that healthy relationships look what they look like early on, we have a powerful opportunity to interrupt those cycles of violence before they become lifelong patterns. And that's where our work comes in. Prevail serves youth and young adults throughout San Joaquin County through both prevention education, outreach, and survivor-centered advocacy. Last year, our community engagement events reached nearly 800 youth and teens across our county. And our work really focuses on teaching young people about healthy relationships, about boundaries, about consent, and what are the local available resources. We just heard one earlier, 211, where they're able to seek that help as well. And we're also providing support to people who have also already been impacted by violence. Last year, we served nearly 700 teens who had been impacted by either teen dating violence, domestic and family violence, sexual abuse, sex trafficking, and sexual exploitation. The teens in our county really need us. And we can't do this work alone. We collaborate closely with schools and school districts like the County Office of Education, with community partners like the Family Justice Center, the Child Abuse Prevention Council, and county systems like HSA and Public Health, the Juvenile Justice Center, and local law enforcement, our victim witness units, and the DA's office. Addressing teen dating violence really requires a coordinated community-wide approach, and we here in San Joaquin County are truly fortunate to have such strong partnerships here. That does not exist in every county, and I'm truly grateful for that. So today, this proclamation really helps to not only raise awareness, but it really reduces the stigma and encourages those conversations among families, educators, service providers, and the youth themselves. These are conversations that can quite literally save lives. So thank you again to the Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Garcia, for making this proclamation possible this month. We're so grateful for the support.
Anybody else? All right, so, I sit up here and, in my first year as being a supervisor, I've learned so much. I got to tour and Prevail and actually see the good work that they do in the community. And obviously, I've lost a lot of hair and my hair has become very, very gray because I raised 4 daughters who are adults now. But I can remember, most times when I met their boyfriends or their whoever they were dating, I was pretty intimidating to them. And usually I'd have a couple of my cousins or brothers there to make sure that we sent them off with a good message. And not everybody has that. And, things happened. And I'm just glad that we have the partners in our community that are going to step up and make a difference and make sure that our children are safe. So I'm honored to be pushing this month, and thank you. Supervisor Dean.
Thank you. Supervisor with 4 daughters.
Two granddaughters too, but I got time.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being there. You know, teenagers don't want to talk to their parents. You know, we're the last person if there's a problem, you know, for those families that do have that relationship, that's phenomenal, but that's not the case most of the time, and it's nice to know that there's some place that they can turn. So, thank you.
Supervisor Rickman.
Thank you, Supervisor, and thank you for bringing this forward. And hey, I'm a dad of 2 daughters, and thank you for the work that you do. And when you brought this forward, and I think people don't associate dating violence with teenagers. So I think this is a great education opportunity, and to parents, be aware of signs. Snoop. I mean, hey, if they're in your house, their privacy is something that can be infringed on a little bit, right? And so making sure you're monitoring their social media, monitoring some of their different interactions. It's better be safe than sorry. Being a cop, former cop, and seeing the things that we see out there, and it's unfortunate, but the best prevention is like a good defense, right? So again, thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you're doing for our teenagers and children here in San Joaquin County. God bless.
Chair Alwell.
Can you please join us? Join us for the picture. Next one, please.
Thank you, Chair. Next is a proclamation requested by our Chair Dhaliwal. It's the proclamation of February 4th, 2026, as Saka Nakador Day in San Joaquin County. And I would like to invite Dr. Harinder Singh, the younger brother of one of the victims that you'll hear about today, to the podium as our Chief Deputy Clerk Chelsea reads the proclamation.
Whereas on February 4th, 1986, 4 unarmed and peaceful Sikh students, namely Ravinder Singh, Baldir Singh, Jilman Singh, and Harminder Singh, were killed by state police in Punjab, India, in an unprovoked firing while participating in protest against the desecration of Sikh scripture Sri Guru Granth Sahib, considered by all Sikhs to be the final supreme and living guru after the lineage of 10 Sikh gurus. And whereas the state authorities violated the freedom of peaceful assembly, which is endorsed by Article 20 of UN Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 21 of UN International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and Article 5 of UN Declaration on Human Rights Defenders. And whereas the state government constituted constituted a commission of judicial inquiry headed by a renowned jurist on this incident of extrajudicial killings. The Justice Gurneem Singh Commission of Inquiry submitted its report to the state government on October 31st, 1986, but the government failed to place and discuss the report, along with the mandatory action taken report, in the state assembly within 6 months of submission. And whereas the state obscured the relevant parts of the Judicial Commission inquiry report and took no action on the report, and not even a single perpetrator has been brought to justice to date. And whereas this incident has now also received international attention, as Dr. Akidar Chima, member of United Nations Global Steering Committee of OSAPG, has raised it on various international forums. Now therefore be it resolved, this San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors does hereby proclaim February 4th, 2026 as Saka Nakadar Day in San Joaquin County to honor the family of the victims on their pursuit of truth, accountability, justice, and closure. Presented this 10th day of February 2026. Chair.
Thank you, Chelsea. Dr. Singh, please.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Honorable Chair and members of the San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors, Chair Taliwal, distinguished guests and members of the community, thank you. Thank you to the San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors for recognizing February 4th as Saka Nakadar Day. This proclamation is more than ceremonial. It's a meaningful act of remembrance, conscience, and solidarities with the families who have waited too long for justice. 40 years ago, on 4th February 1986, in the town of Nakadar in Punjab, India, 4 unarmed Sikh students, Ravinder Singh, Harminder Singh, Balteer Singh, and Chalman Singh, were killed during a peaceful protest. They were students, they were sons, they were young men with their entire lives ahead of them. They had gathered peacefully to protest the burning of the Sikh scripture, Sri Guru Granth Sahib. What they encountered instead was lethal force. Their families have now lived for 4 decades with grief compounded by something even heavier, the absence of accountability. By issuing this proclamation, San Joaquin County affirms a simple but powerful truth that human life has value everywhere, and the justice delayed anywhere concerns us all. For my family, this history is deeply personal. My father, Bapu Baldev Singh, was 39-year-old in 1986 when my brother Ravinder, who was just 19, was killed. My father is 79 today. For 40 years, I have watched him live, not with answers, but with files, court orders, inquiry reports, RTI replies, and newspaper clippings. Documents that say everything and yet are made to mean nothing. While institutions moved on, he did not. While records were misplaced, denied, or quietly closed, he kept every copy, every date, and every name. When the system chose silence, he chose memory. When justice was deferred, he became the witness. He did not have the power of the state, only the discipline of truth and refusal to forget. For 4 decades, he has pursued justice through peaceful, lawful, and democratic means, not with anger, not with violence, but with faith in the rule of law. His life stands as proof that justice can be obstructed, delayed, and denied, but not erased as long as someone insists on telling the truth. Saka Nakoda is not about reopening the old wounds. It's about acknowledging unresolved one. It is about remembering that justice is not confined by the borders, and that democratic societies have a moral responsibility to stand with those whose voices have been ignored. In that context, it is especially important to recognize leadership that chose remembrance early when it was not common, when it was not easy. Supervisor Taliwal, while serving as the mayor of city of Lathrop, was the first elected official outside India to formally recognize Saka Nakoda. That act of recognition overseas mattered deeply to the families. It demonstrated that remembrance does not require proximity, only conscience. Since that first recognition, Saka Nakoda has been acknowledged at the United Nations and the United States Congress and the California State Assembly, and by multiple counties and the cities across North America, including cities in Canada. What began as a single act of moral leadership has grown into a shared commitment to remembrance and human dignity. This proclamation by San Joaquin County reflects the same value, the right to peaceful assembly, the importance of accountability, and the belief that the governments must answer to the people they serve. When a local government recognizes an event far beyond its geographic boundaries, it sends a powerful message that human rights are universal, and that remembrance itself is a form of action. On behalf of the families of the Saka Nakoda martyrs and the broader Sikh community, I want to express sincere gratitude to this board for listening, for understanding, and taking this step. For the families, this proclamation does not replace justice, but it does something equally important. It tells them they are not alone, and that their 40-year struggle has not been forgotten. As we mark 40 years of Saka Nakoda Day, we do so with humility, remembrance, and hope. Hope that truth will one day be fully acknowledged, and that justice, however delayed, will not be denied forever. Thank you for standing on the side of remembrance, dignity, and human rights. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. The town of Nakoda is about 15 miles from where I grew up in state of Punjab. Myself and one of the young men who was murdered by Punjab police, Harminder Singh, we attended the same college. I was there from 1981 to 1982, and he joined in 1986. It's so sad that even after 40 years, the families are still fighting for justice. And I hope we continue to raise the voice, and someday these people are held accountable. Supervisor Rickman.
Thank you, Chairman, for bringing this forward, and thank you, Doctor, and thank you both for being here and, telling the story, putting the spotlight on this act of violence. And I think it's an enduring importance of standing up for, human dignity. So again, thank you both, and God bless.
Vice Chair Ding.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I received a text from Kamaljeet a few days ago, and he had written that on the bottom of his text, and I had no idea what he was talking about. So thank you for the education, informing us. I'm sorry of your loss. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Supervisor Cardia.
Thank you, Chair, for bringing this proclamation forward, and also for your past leadership to bring out to the community of what this terrible incident, and to your family, it's unimaginable. And honestly, if this proclamation wasn't brought forward, we wouldn't be educated and would have no idea of what has happened. And something that's happened in a different country, that there's advocates still looking for justice. So I want to thank you for your continued fight.
Thank you, sir. Board members, please join us. Next, we have public comments. Any person desiring to speak on an item that's not on this agenda may do so now. You will get 3 minutes. Please give a card to Chelsea, and we will call your name. Please address your comments to the board. No personal attacks, please. Mayor Fugazi, you're going to speak on SenCal, right? And public comment. Please.
I guess I'm on. Yes, I am. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. I just wanted to touch upon something that happened yesterday when we were closed, you guys were closed, but down the street here, we have our San Joaquin Regional Regional Transit District, and the buses had stopped yesterday, and I had a number of people reach out to me thinking that the city oversaw the transit district, and I had to explain to them that the bus system is not an entity of the city, nor is it an entity of the county. It's actually its own entity. However, the City of Stockton and the San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors appoint people to their board who make the decisions. I do believe that buses should have continued to run yesterday. There were people who had doctor's appointments. There were people who had job interviews. There were people who needed to get to their jobs, and unfortunately, the buses were not running. I realized people wanted to speak at public comment at yesterday's meeting, but they could have rotated still, I believe. Just like when fire or police or MUD, or utilities districts have issues, you still have people cover the essential services. And so I believe people should have still done their routes or had people come in. Yes, you have the right to take off for sick leave or whatever reason it is that you have, but we still need to run those buses as people still need to get to their places. And so I am in support of the ridership in making sure that they could get from point A to point B. And I wanted the public to understand that this is not the city nor the county makes the decisions of the board of the transit district. And that's the only thing I wanted to make sure that the public was aware of, that I did not make that decision, nor did you make that decision yesterday for their board agenda, as well as for them to stop bus service. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Andrew Avenue.
Yeah, probably. Good morning, members of the County Board of Supervisors, and to Mr. Stephen Ding, Supervisor Ding. Ooh, oh my God, that's crazy. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Andrew Avina, and I hail from Lodi, California, and I'm here to represent the NorCal Science and Technology Planning Committee, a completely student-led organization based on the Lodi High School campus. Standing here today is both exciting and humbling because I have the chance to speak on behalf of a group of students who are deeply invested in this community and its future. I would like to extend a very special invitation to each and every one of you, and that is to attend the 10th Annual NorCal Science Festival, taking place on Saturday, February 21st at Lodi High School. The event is a free, community-centered event designed for people of all ages and all backgrounds. Each year, students work alongside scientists, engineers, educators, and professionals from across Northern California to explore how science shapes our everyday lives, from the technology we rely on to the infrastructure around us, to the questions we are still trying to answer. What began as a small hometown of science fair has grown into a large regional event. Today we welcome presenters and attendees from across the Central Valley and beyond. That growth reflects not just increased interest, but a growing belief that STEAM education belongs to the public, accessible to everyone. Since the festival's founding more than 10 years ago, we have made it our mission to make STEAM visible and approachable to anyone in the community who may be curious, as a sort of jumping off point, especially for the youth. In this way, we hope the festival will plant the seeds that may grow into academic interests and career paths for these young men and women. What truly sets apart this festival, however, is not the size, but its leadership. The entire event is organized and executed by students. My peers and I are responsible for logistics, presenter outreach, scheduling, volunteer coordination, and communication with professionals. We are learning how to manage real responsibility, meet real deadlines, and solve real problems, all while working with people who expect us to deliver. I would like to take a moment to recognize the students who make this possible, many of whom could not be here today. They balance rigorous academic schedules, demanding extracurriculars, outside responsibilities, all while dedicating countless hours to this event. Their dedication to this event means the world to me, as it is experiences like this that help students discover who they are and what they are capable of when their voices are heard. I extend a very heartfelt thanks to each and every one, especially Becca Starr, Isabella Oseguera, Tessa Fox, and Peyton Piper, who is with me here today, whose work ethic continuously stuns us. Thank you, Peyton. Today, I want to extend an open invitation to each of you and those in the audience today. Whether you attend as public servants, lifelong learners, or simply curious members of the community, we would be honored to welcome you. Your presence would mean a great deal to us students who have worked so hard to build the event and the festival to serve its community. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your continued commitment to making our county a place where learning, curiosity, and innovation can thrive. We hope to see you there February 21st, 2026.
Thank you, sir.
And Mr. Chairman, I know we're not supposed to have any conversation. I just want to say I'm very proud of both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your invitation.
Lauren Cardinale.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. One day on the hillside when Jesus was teaching, he called all his children to sit by his side. He told them he loved them, and he told them a story of his Father who lived in the heavens so high. His Father who lives in the heavens so high. Jesus loves the children, his special friends, the children. Brothers and sisters in the family of God, Jesus loves the children. A reading from Galatians 5:22-23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. The Memorandum of Understanding between the Free People of San Joaquin County and the California Republic is this U.S. Constitution and the Brown Act. The San Joaquin County Emergency Operations Plan is a disparaging condition of unlawful and illegal stakeholder capitalism. It injures Americans, it chills their speech, and it denies their right to protect themselves, violating the reasonableness doctrine of the Supreme Court. National socialized medicine was first introduced in Germany in 1930. That is where our questionnaire forms come from. They evaluated medical procedures based on what disabled and elderly people told them and got rid of the dirty bloodlines such as the Jews and the blacks and Christians. This was done at the T4 human rights violation clinics where over 200,000 people were murdered. The Tuskegee experiments continued this with medical treatments and clinical care. That is where those practices originate. Black American sharecroppers were injured with syphilis and led to die to see how the events carried out by criminal medical practitioners. President Reagan then signed the VSIP Act, which made it legal for medical practitioners to injure children. I suffered permanent lifelong injury from the toxicants that were put into my arm by a firearm. It is an injectable, just like the mRNA LNP that was done during the COVID response. The difference is that our local legislators were responsible for these acts through their iniquitous acts of unlawful, illegal instruments. Maddie DeGray will be permanently injured for her whole life. She was 12 years old when she first turned the injection. This is the use of illegal lethal force by medical practitioners, and I'm asking today for a stop work to you, Chair Dollywall. You are the Director of Emergency Services along with Sandy Regallo. If you fail to perform a stop work, you are now allowing lethal force in the area. Any of you supervisors is allowed via the Brown Act to call an emergency meeting and stop the murdering of innocent children in our county.
Thank you, Lauren. Next, we have Tammy Dunbar.
Good morning, Chairman Dollywall, Vice Chair Ding, and supervisors. I'm here to give you an update from Congressman Adam Gray. I'm pleased to share that the Congressman has secured over $16 million in direct federal funding deemed essential for our San Joaquin Valley. The money is spread across 15 projects that will be of direct service to folks in our district in a variety of ways, from a water treatment facility in Dos Palos to an improved radio system for the Modesto Police. The congressman says providing better sidewalks in Huron or making sure bay doors open when they're supposed to in a Modesto fire station might not seem like a big deal to people in Los Angeles or Miami, but in my district, these projects have real impact on people's lives. My constituents sent me here to work, to get things done, and doing that work is the most important thing I do. Under House Appropriations Committee guidelines, each representative may request up to 15 projects to be funded. And Congressman Gray, in his first year in Congress, is one of the few representatives who had all 15 of his projects funded. All that to say that we will soon be accepting applications for the next round of community project funding. So Chair Dollywall, I was at Lathrop last night talking to the council about this. Keep an eye out for outreach from our office on when that window for applications opens. The process typically begins between now and late March. It's up to the House Appropriations Committee to set the timeline. But please let me know if you would like me to send you the link as soon as it's available to apply for a community project grant. And as always, if you need help with federal issues, we're here to work for you. Give us a call, 209-226-6880. Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy. Anybody else want to speak under public comments? May do so now. Hearing none, we'll move to Board of Supervisors regular meeting, January 27 meeting minutes.
Through the chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second? Second. Call for vote, or you can do roll call. Motion passes 4-0. Chair Canapa is not present. Before we discuss the consent items, we have an urgency discussion item. I will turn it over to County Counsel Ed Kiernan.
Thank you, Chair. Pursuant to Government Code Section 95954.2, Vice Chair Ding has requested that an urgency item be added to the agenda to allow discussion regarding solutions to address the dysfunction of the Farming Fire Protection District. After the posting of the agenda, specifically at 11:57 a.m. on February 9th, 2026, the acting chief and assistant chief resigned from Farmington Fire Protection District, leaving a vacuum of leadership in this essential public safety-oriented special district. Immediate direction from the board is needed regarding what steps might be pursued to address this public safety issue that has been exacerbated by the resignation of its leadership. To add something to the agenda, what must be established is upon a determination by, in this case, 3/4 of the board of the legislative body, which is the Board of Supervisors, present at the meeting, that there is a need to take immediate action and that the need for action came to the attention of the local agency subsequent to the agenda being posted as specified in the above subsection. And so with that, it's up to the board to make a motion and add this to the agenda if it believes this is the matter warrants consideration at this time as an urgency item.
Thank you, sir.
Motion to place it on the agenda. Second.
We have a motion and second. Anybody want to speak about this from the public? Anybody?
Whoa.
Correct, yeah.
Good morning. My name is Jake Samuel. I'm the Vice President of the Farmington Fire District Board of Directors. President Briggs would be here today, but he's currently manning the station. This has all happened so quickly, so I'm not really sure what to provide you as supervisors today, but I do want to ensure our community and
Can you hold up just a second, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Just point of order. Don't we need to vote to put it on the agenda? We do. First?
Well, as I understand it, I believe this gentleman should be speaking to the issue of whether or not it should be put on the agenda. And then if it's put on the agenda, then it would be appropriate for you to speak as to what appropriate actions might be taken.
Certainly.
So just hold on.
Certainly. I'll sit back down.
Sir, sorry about calling you at this juncture. Maybe you can come back and speak about this item when it comes on the agenda.
Well, no, we're gonna, point of clarification. The only thing we have to do, first we have to take a vote to put it on the agenda, then we'll discuss it, and then we can open it up to public.
That's what I suggested.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Call for
But
vote.
don't go
please.
far, Jacob.
10-4.
We have a motion and second call for vote. The motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Vice Chair Ding. I stand corrected, sir. We have a discussion item.
Oh, thank you.
We have a discussion item, approval of agreement with SenCal Fire and EMS Authority, a joint powers for exclusive emergency ambulance and dispatch services in ambulance zone X and zone Y for the period of May 1st, 2026 to May 1st, 2031. Board, with your permission, can we move this item up and discuss at this time before we go to consent calendar? Can we discuss SenCal now? Is that okay? Do we need a motion? No?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
We are moving SenCal up, and we will discuss it right now before we do the consent calendar.
No, you should just discuss it right now.
You want to do?
Excuse me, through the chair, I think the chair is asking, he would like to move the SenCal, which is discussion item number 1, I believe. Let me see.
Real quick, I'll provide color, Chair. I mean, you can go ahead and do what you want, as like you stated, as long as there's no opposition or anybody doesn't agree with it, you can go ahead and move it, or like what you're talking about, so.
We can discuss Farmington first, and then we can do SenCal.
Right, you're the chair, unless one of us disagrees, whatever, we don't have to do a motion, we don't have to do a vote. You're the chair, you can go ahead and do it.
So I do have board's approval to move it up. Let's discuss Farmington first, and then we'll discuss SenCal. Vice Chair Ding?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This came to our attention just after noon yesterday, and I do appreciate my colleagues taking some time out of this, because this is a very urgent matter that deals with, life or death situations. I would, after this discussion, love to leave here with some direction and on how to deal with this. I know County Council, after you're done reading your law library, please find a way to yes, so we can figure out how to do this. I want to divide this up into 2 parts. I live under the know what you know, and I'm not a fireman. I don't know how it operates, so I'm going to have Mario take that. And then I want to talk about LAFCO and the process to actually maybe form a commission, whether it's this department, while that door is open, a commission to oversee some restructure realignment as well. So Supervisor Gardia.
I also want to hear from LAFCO too, to kind of give us a direction of what, and county council to give us direction. First of all, I want to say that, volunteer fire departments are vital to our communities, and it's unfortunate that this volunteer fire department has had issues for quite some time. The LAFCO's currently doing an MSR, and it's shown that there are some issues, and there's been issues for a long time. And I think the bottom line is, it comes down to accountability and making sure that business is being done proper. So I've been discussing with Supervisor Ding for quite some time of some different resolutions on how we can handle this. The board hasn't been able to meet for months, I believe. They've been having issues paying their bills. There has been definitely a sense of just not getting along. And so before I really make any more comments, I'd like to hear from LAFCO and maybe county council on how we move forward with this.
And Supervisor, just one more comment before JD, come on down. I want to thank all the chiefs for, indulging me yesterday on the phone and giving me your perspectives. My first call hadn't even rang to the first chief I called yet, and they were already on it. I mean, they had figured out through dispatch who was handling what the backup plans were. So, when the house is on fire, you call the fire department. And this was a fire, so you guys stepped up and it was handled. So thank you in the short term.
Oh, good morning, Supervisors. J.D. Hightower, Executive Officer of LAFCO. We do have a MSR drafted for Farmington Fire District. Back when they were, the board was failing to meet, my understanding is that the board, we got a quorum together in the meeting and taking care of business, at least for the last couple of months. And in this, the chief went on leave of absence for workers' comp. Then the acting chief and the assistant chief resigned effective yesterday. So I'm not sure where everything stands, but the LAFCO process is such that when a district becomes dysfunctional, the MSR is done and LAFCO considers it, and at the end of the consideration on the public hearing, and we'll be scheduling that public hearing for March. At the end of the public hearing, the LAFCO action that can be done is approval of a resolution that gives a notice of intent to dissolve. The notice of intent to dissolve the district gives a 1 year time frame with a 6-month check-in to see where everything is, where has the district been able to take care of the businesses and the shortcomings that were identified within that municipal services review. So there's a process, but like Supervisor Ding and the vice chair of the district, business is being taken care of by the district right now through a variety of means and mutual aid agreements. But so there's a today issue. The intermediate issue really is, when the 6-month check-in, what course of action has the district taken to move forward? And then long-term, the year, what final actions need to be taken either to dissolve the district or to a district that's taking care of business, and they have been taking care of business in the past. So it's a process, and we'll be going through that process, and we'll be discussing that on Thursday at the LAFCO meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning. But that will kick it off for the discussion to give a background so that all the commissioners are aware of the situation come the meeting in March. So that's where the LAFCO action is at. Now there is, under the Fire Protection District Law of 1987, the county can form a commission, a fire advisory commission, upon dissolution of a district and the county becoming the responsible agency. Under that district law, the time clock's already started on that. Depending on the outcome of the dissolution of Boggs Tract area may very well become part of your responsibilities to administer the Boggs Tract, and at that point, a commission can be formed with under the Fire Protection District Act of 1987. That's where everything lies out. So there's a couple of variables. What happens with Bog Tracts, not sure. But the high probability is foreseeable that the county may wind up being the administrator for the Boggs Tract Fire District. And at that point, the commission is really in the clear for the county forming an oversight commission. Do you have any questions?
My big question is one of staff. I just want to make sure county council and our director of LAFCO are on the same page as far as your understanding of what process we have to move forward with.
Through the chair, yeah, I will speak with LAFCO. I don't, my understanding is, as I view the situation, it sounds like we have short-term solutions we need, and we have a long-term solution. And the short-term solution, it sounds like it's being addressed by virtue of the surrounding fire protection districts acknowledging the fact that they may need to provide mutual aid to this district while it's unable to provide the fire protection. I think it might also make sense to reach out to CAL FIRE and see if they're willing to similarly provide mutual aid to this area until such time as it's able to do so for itself. The long-term solution, as I understand it, it would be potentially pursuing a dissolution of the Farmington Fire Protection District, and that is something that Mr. Hightower is experienced in, and I've heard nothing which I disagree with. But I do want to speak with him and also his counsel if this board gives direction that it thinks that's a good idea. My understanding is there's different ways in which a dissolution of the district can be pursued. One is LAFCO, as I understand it, can do it on its own. Another alternative would be if the fire protection district itself pursue dissolution. And then finally, there's the option of the public, 10% of the public petitioning. I believe it's 10%. I had to double check the statute. But a petition could arise from the population seeking to dissolve the district. But I don't think it's a super quick process, and that's the reason why I would describe it as a long-term solution versus a short-term solution. But I will certainly be in contact with Mr. Hightower as well as his counsel, and whatever direction this board gives, to the extent it's legally possible, I'll pursue it.
Thank you. My only concern, the magic wand, the other districts will respond, and the districts have been great, the surrounding districts, but we have a couple of problems, and this is why, a bureaucratic, looking beyond. You've got Escalon, for example, who, covers a major part of the area. If, it's got to be Escalon first, and then they can provide mutual. It's a matter of dollars. This is one of the least funded districts is Farmington, and so to ask one of these other departments to come in, that is something that's going to have to be overcome. CAL FIRE, who's going to call CAL FIRE? I mean, these are all things that motivate me to think we need to move faster sooner than slower to make sure that we have a commission that can help the chiefs organize this and find out what direction they would go. So I guess my question, and then I'll turn it over to Supervisor Gardia so he can tell me what I don't know, is making sure, what's the quickest path here? Would it be the LAFCO path, which we can, discuss as well? But this isn't something that can drag out forever. So, I don't want to see happen here what happened in San Diego. I don't want to see here happen what happened in Yolo. It just, most governments, they wait till there's a crisis and then they respond, and we want to get ahead of it.
So the process, we'll discuss that and bring it forward, the MSR in March. And then the determination of MSR, the adoption of the action plan, we will discuss it. A preview of the MSR on Thursday under my comments to give a brief, to notify the other all the commissioners of what's going on with the Farmington Fire District and bringing that forward to the public hearing in March and duly advertised and following all the procedures of the Brown Act. So we'll be having a public hearing on that in March, on the second Thursday in March.
Through the chair, this is either for legal counsel or or JD, what prevents us from starting a San Joaquin County Fire Commission now? If you're saying that Boggs Track is probably going to be taken over by the county, which is serviced by the city of Stockton, and the Stockton Fire Department's been under contract for quite some time.
Right,
What stops us, or is there a reason to delay that?
As the Fire Protection District Act, my understanding, you check with the council, but the first assumption is to form a commission is that the county appoints itself as the Board of Trustees for a district. And in this case, in Boggs Track, the district Board of Trustees is non-existent. And so, and that process for the dissolution of Boggs Track has started a couple of months ago. So, and they're supposed to come back in a 6-month check-in in April. And so if and when, and at the end of the year-long process, because we did issue a notice of intent to dissolve the district. So we got about 10 months in order to form the county to assume and act as a board for Boggs Track. And as soon as that date happens, then the county can form a fire commission. Now that may be different than forming an advisory commission. I'm not sure. That's why I need to discuss with county council and what the LAFCO direction is. But we have under the MSR, there is a steering committee that's made up of professionals that really know the fire protection, and we do have in place the steering committee for the MSR, the Municipal Service Review of all the rural districts. That the chassis is there to go, but there's a process that needs to be followed.
I got one more question. So when was the last time Boggs Track actually had a board?
As far as I can tell, about 12 years ago.
Yeah, over a decade. So we're only 2 months into this process?
Yeah, we're 2 months into that. We did, LAFCO did file, did pass a resolution of intent to dissolve the district. And we're about 2 months into that year process. And April will be the 6-month check-in. After that 6-month check-in, the course becomes much clearer because we haven't heard anything from Boggs Track or any of the residents regarding that. So then the question is, being completely surrounded by the city of Stockton, it'll be a discretionary decision by the city of Stockton whether to file for annexation, or does it become the responsibility of the county? Is really what the two options are. And my understanding is that it's foreseeable that the county becomes responsible for the operation of the Boggs Track Fire District. And as soon as that date happens, then the county can form a fire commission pursuant to Fire District Protection Law of 1987.
Yeah, and just getting ahead of this, do we have any other districts that aren't meeting quorum or doesn't have a board?
Not that I'm aware of. And Boggs Track does have, they've got a quorum together, and there was a period of time where for about 6 months that the quorum wasn't achieved. They finally got everything together and got a quorum together and started taking care of business.
That's Farmington, not
Farmington. And then then part of business is you have a board of trustees and you have your administration. Trustees were absent for a while, and now is the administration of the district and who's taking care of the day-to-day operation. And the day-to-day operation really is the other chiefs, and through mutual aid have agreed to provide the coverage. But still, the day-to-day, who's authorizing payments and what payments need to be made, that's something that I'm sure the board is taking the best steps that they can possibly take. But there's still, hey, we're all here, we're all together, and the service will be provided. It's just a matter of getting the house in order and making sure that this is a viable district. There's been some struggles, and that's where I think everything is at. Is Farmington really a viable district? And time will tell when we bring up the matter with the MSR in March and moving forward.
All right, thank you.
Done? Supervisor Ding, anything further?
I'm good with the director right now.
Thanks.
I'd kind of like to hear from chiefs
Okay.
and Jacob from the district.
Yeah, Jacob?
Supervisor Rickman, you good, JD? Thank you, sir. No questions?
No, I mean, I think there's a process. We have every chief here in San Joaquin County here. And I just want to, comment on something Supervisor Ding made about like Escalon, just want to assure, and we got to make sure. I mean, Escalon's a small city, and if you think Escalon's going to pick up, all the slack, I mean, Escalon, going from Escalon to Farmington, and Farmington is a huge area, and that's why I have trust in our chiefs that, hey, you have an Escalon engine, leave Escalon, and somebody's going to need to backfill that, and that's, what these guys do, so that these cities, whatever city that it may be, doesn't have a fire truck not available in case something goes down in their city in which their city residents are paying taxes for. So with that being said, that's all I got, Chair.
Thank you, sir. Sir, please.
Okay. Good morning once again. I appreciate all the comments and Mr. Hightower as well. He came to one of our meetings one evening. We have had some struggles, there's no doubt. I was appointed to the board in October of last year, and since then I've been trying to work with operations and with some of the board directors in Farmington to try to help get the ball moving in the right path. Anything from operations on the administrative side, paying the bills. There were some backlog on bills that we approved in October, and we've been up and up on bills ever since then. We do have staff 24/7. I've personally spoke to, I believe, 7 firefighters. One is resigning. The rest have committed to maintaining their shift schedule for this month. Right now, President Briggs is currently manning the station since he does have his EMT license at Class B. One of our other board of directors does have that as well, but he's a full-time high school ag teacher, so he's there currently. Just off the top of my head, we have been working to try to find some administrative help that will help with payroll and maintaining bills and such like that. Somebody outside of the fire district that we've currently been using. The previous battalion chief has been running those operations and trying to make some changes and bring things to the 21st century, and has been a little bit difficult and a challenge. I've only been on board for a few months now, and I'm still trying to get my feet wet in fire protection and what that looks like. I'm a business owner here in the county and a farmer by heart, but a businessman by trade, I guess. So trying to push the district in the right direction forward has been our goal, and maintain 24/7 coverage is the first step. And Chief Brandon Rusker at Linden, and forgive me, I forget the name of the chief in Collegeville, have committed to helping us. I know President Briggs is meeting the chief in Collegeville on Friday to discuss additional trainings for our current staff. We do have several firefighters that would meet the eligibility to begin driving an engine. They just need the proper training and approval. So there are plans being forward, but it's a very fluid situation we're trying to work through, and open for any questions or comments or thoughts that you guys may have, and try to answer them the best I can.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I appreciate you stepping forward. I told you this was going to be easy when we appointed you in October. So as far as training, Well, I guess this is where I'll wait to hear from the chiefs, how long it, because you need somebody to drive the water tender, you keep talking about what a 2x2, 4x4, language I don't understand. What exactly we need to do, what Escalon can do, what Linden can do, Collegeville, and then and this is one of the reasons I really think we need a commission too, because at the end of the day, who's gonna pay for this thing? So, anyway, thank you for your
Supervisor
service.
Dane, one more comment I forgot to make is that we do have an acting chief job posting out online currently. We've been working on that for the last month, and it was posted last week. I do have some interest with it, and we're opening that up to everyone here in the county, and with, of course, certain qualifications. So with the absence of our current chief, Matt Bailey, on medical leave, we were pursuing that regardless of what was happening yesterday. And at our last board meeting, after we presented that as a recommendation to move forward with the posting of that acting chief, is when we had some, as you say, distaste to the direction of where the board of directors was going with an acting chief, someone else on the outside of Farmington coming in, and hence this is where we're at today. But we're trying our hardest to make it right for our community, and I live in the community, and I want to make sure we have adequate coverage. That's been the concern of a lot of the people in the area, to make sure we have that adequate coverage. Not to say Linden and Collegeville won't be able to provide that for us, because there are areas where they can get there faster than Farmington can, but Farmington is a pretty tight-knit community, and that's the concern that everybody has.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, hold up. Sorry, through the chair.
Apologies.
I've just got a couple questions.
Certainly.
Hey, so, do you guys have a training budget currently? Or we don't know?
That's one of those things I am not sure of. I'm not sure what our budget is overall. I know we have a gross revenue number, but as what the training budget is, I'm not certain. Since I've been on board, there have been 2 trainings that the district has put on. We have a volunteer that would come in and do trainings for our district and the other districts in the area that want to send them to do a certain training, whether it be EMT or what have you.
And so you said you have 6 acting volunteer firefighters right now?
They're paid volunteers.
Paid volunteers?
Yes,
And so what are their minimum qualifications? Do they have driver operator 1A, 1B?
They do not have driver operators. They have their EMT certifications, and that's about as far as I know that they have a certification.
And the other question is, what qualifies to be a volunteer in Farmington?
I'd have to get back to you with that information. That's one of the things I haven't gotten around to learning yet as a qualification.
Okay, and the reason why I asked that, there may be other opportunities for other volunteers in other areas. An example, maybe Stockton Firefighters Auxiliary, which is a volunteer program through the city of Stockton that might be willing to do 24-hour shifts over there.
Mhm.
And some of them do have the training, but that's why I'm asking obviously they would need some type of leadership there to make sure to give them direction,
Yes,
which is a challenge.
Yes, the challenge is the leadership, putting in place to direction the operations and scheduling and such. I don't want to be scheduling everybody's shifts for the month. That needs to be on the chief's side of things. In the past, I do know that certain districts have requirements on what the reserves need to be and what those requirements are. I think minimum it's an EMT certification, but I do believe that with the new hires that we had in June, they received their EMT certification shortly after if they did not have it at that time.
Yeah, I think the minimum requirement is actually a first responder, which is way
Yes.
less. And I think it's a 2-day class. I think the county offers that training. Is that true? So I'm sure we could facilitate that to make sure that if we have some new volunteers that are willing to come up, that we can get that training done, especially in this state of emergency.
Yeah, in the last 24 hours, some of the conversation I've had with another one of the board of directors was something around that, getting a posting of additional firefighters needed to fill schedules.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Can we hear from the fire chiefs? Anybody?
Chairman, Vice Chair, and board members. I'm Marty Cornelison, the French Camp Fire Department Chief in Mountain House. I've been in the San Joaquin County fire business for the past 31 years and have been a volunteer and a combination and a paid firefighter. I do believe what is happening in Farmington is something that's been happening across the country with volunteer departments and volunteerism. As a county, we always pull together. And when the call came out yesterday, we came together and figured out how we can help with the coverage and in any way that we're able to provide service to our community. I do believe, small volunteer departments, no matter where you're at, especially in San Joaquin County, is going to be a challenge in the future. And I don't think that the Farmington community is warranted to have to go through this with the uncertainty of coverage in their community. And I think, with calm, cool, collective minds, we can figure this one out and move forward and have business as usual. And just for the community of Farmington and for the county is we're always going to stand by one another and help provide that service. Is there any questions you have for me? I'm also the president of the San Joaquin County Chiefs Association as well, so.
Through the chair, a quick
Yes,
question is, what has county OES, can you explain that relationship with the county OES right now? Is there any type of collaboration
With the county OES, if there is any resources in which we need that we are unable to provide within our operational needs, we can always reach out to the county OES for those types of equipment and resources. So they're there to help us in our needs if we do not have certain pieces of equipment or provide services that we're unable to provide within our own agencies. So they've been there for us as well.
So mostly equipment, not manpower?
Not manpower.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Supervisor Ding, what direction should we give to this?
This is your seat at the table. Sure nobody wants to pipe in here? Okay. I'm unclear on the path and the action we need to take here. I understand where we're at with LAFCO, and we'll address that on Thursday, and then putting the item on the schedule for March. And that was one of your two options, Ed, either LAFCO, or you could go the other route with the petition and the dissolving of the board under Jacob and Jeff.
Sure.
Farmington Board.
Through the chair, the three options for dissolving, as I've looked into it, one is LAFCO could initiate it. The second is the board of the Farmington Fire Protection District itself could initiate it, or a petition by 10% of the registered voters within the district could initiate a dissolution process. And while I'm not getting specific direction, I'm certainly getting the sense that what the board would like is for staff to speak with LAFCO and anybody else who might have useful information to, one, make sure that there's continued coverage of Farmington area, the Farmington area in the short term, and two, potentially pursuing dissolution of the fire protection district if it looks like it's not going to be functional as a longer term goal, but as expedited a process as possible.
Thank you, Ed. Yeah, not only not functional, but, at the end of the day, are the, elected officials like to talk about public safety first. This is a life or death matter, and we got to make sure that happens. And County Administrator, I might as well throw this out here because I am going to be bringing it up, is one of the problems we're going to have with realignment, whatever we do, it does come down to dollars. And there are other counties. San Diego is a great example. You know, we fund law enforcement, we fund the district attorney, we fund everything else but fire. I think that's one of those boxes, we're gonna have to look at that. You know, when you talk about, you know, Escalon and Linden, if they're in their Collegeville, it's something we're gonna have to start considering. So we could discuss that more down the road.
Through the chair, if I could just address that, we do, as the fire chiefs know, we worked very hard in the last couple of years through Supervisor Rickman and the fire chiefs to provide some funding, because we do not, this budget, we don't have any fire within our budget, our county budget, but we do provide some funding to our fire districts. I want to say this year, 25-26 is probably about 1.2 million that comes from the general fund. But I'll be happy to. If this goes forward, because I am not familiar with the whole commission, a board of directors, and what that means for the county. We have never, and I have not been involved in that, so I'll have to do a lot of reading and research and talking to our fire chiefs to see what that looks like.
Okay, and please don't take that as an admonishment. You've done one heck of a job, but we're in a, you know, kind of a crisis situation, and it's just one of those boxes we're gonna have to look in. You know, some of the other counties have decided it was, you know, they had to reorganize a few things. I'm sure we could find a wasted penny or two around the county. So, anyway.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
And it was talked about by council. I see a reason to form an ad hoc committee that we could actually move this discussion further. And I think that falls within the, you know, LAFCO and dissolution or whatever, you know, not dissolution, I'm sorry. But I think ad hoc committee would actually would benefit the county and the district right now until we really let the smoke clear a little bit.
So you want to make a motion to do that?
Yeah, I make a motion to create an ad hoc committee.
Second.
Who's going to be on the committee?
Supervisor Gardia and myself. Does that work? Does that work?
Is that your motion?
Correct.
We have a motion and second. Call for vote, please. Motion passes 4-0. Should we move on?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Let's move on to approval of agreement with CenCal Fire and EMS Authority. Mr. Bagwell.
Good morning, Chair and Supervisors, CEO Regalo, County Council Kiernan. I'm Jared Bagwell. I'm the EMS Administrator for San Joaquin County. I believe we have a map that we're going to display. This map will be something I reference through most of my comments. Among many things, the EMS agency is responsible for establishing exclusive operating areas for emergency ambulance service. This gives the exclusive rights to that ambulance provider for all the ambulance calls in that EOA. These EOAs require a competitive bid process unless the EOA is grandfathered, meaning they have provided those services since 1980. San Joaquin currently has 4 EOAs. Manteca District Ambulance, Zone D, includes the cities of Manteca and Lathrop. The Ripon Fire Ambulance is Zone E, which includes the Ripon Consolidated Fire District area. And Escalon Community Ambulance covers Zone E, which covers the greater Escalon area. Those 3 providers are EMS authorized grandfathered EOA, so they don't have to go through the competitive bid process. As you can see, that covers most of the southern, eastern catchment of the county. In 2005, 2006, the EMS agency established the first competitively bid EOA for what is now collectively called Zone X. Zone X is subdivided into currently 6 subzones, but it covers the entire county, including the unprotected area. Over the last 2.5 years, the EMS agency has been preparing for this competitive bid process. The current provider, AMR, their contract ends May 1st, 2026. This process included a professional EMS system assessment done by an EMS consulting firm, publishing the findings and recommendations from that assessment, taking those recommendations and development of an RFP to incorporate these provisions to improve the service and clinical requirements of the prospective provider, publishing that RFP and selecting the provider and agreement discussions. As a result of this process, the selection of CenCal Fire and EMS Authority as the new EOA provider occurred last fall. Their proposal included a public-private partnership by subcontracting the ambulance response and transport to the current incumbent provider, AMR. And if you can see, there's 2 rows of over a dozen leadership from both the JPA and the current AMR provider. So a lot of coordination has already happened. Some of the changes and improvements I wanted to talk to you a little bit about in the new system. We have a good system as an established, mature EMS system, but we do have some improvements in this new agreement. If you can see on the map, the Tracy area is a sub-zone of X. In the new agreement, that has been carved out as a distinct exclusive operating area. And the reason is you can see moving resources from Stockton to the Tracy area requires going through a different EOA, Zone D, and the traffic patterns on 205 are very difficult to move resources from Stockton to Tracy and back. So that was one of the improvements. Consolidating or centralizing ambulance dispatch. Ambulance dispatch is centralized now, but in the agreement with CenCal and AMR, they are moving those centralized efforts over to Stockton Fire. Currently, the ambulances are dispatched on 2 different frequencies. The move to Stockton Fire will incorporate a single dispatch channel for all of the ambulances and be able to use command channels and whatever fire districts that ambulance might be responding to use for better coordination. Measuring clinical performance, previous agreements really only focused on time-based measurements. In this new agreement, we have key performance indicators that we will be measuring. And this basically improves patient outcomes. And this is a requirement of the new provider to adhere to some very high clinical standards. With the public-private partnership, there is better overall disaster management and MCI coordination amongst fire and ambulance. This is an opportunity to really hone in on that and get better. Better tiered response, although EMS has had tiered response, which in our vernacular is both advanced life support and basic life support ambulances go into lower acuity calls or higher acuity calls. This is an opportunity to utilize some of the paramedics on the fire engines to co-respond with BLS response and transport without having to wait for an ALS ambulance. There's increased field supervision and oversight. Currently, there's no requirement, I believe, other than one supervisor on 24 hours a day. This new agreement requires on-duty supervisor with a ratio of 1 to 12. So every 12 deployed ambulances will require an on-duty supervisor. So more support for the field folks. We are moving into an open market for the interfacility transports, and that's your CCT transports, your BLS interfacility, your advanced life support interfacility. So moving patients to and from hospitals. was incorporated into the current agreement, but that takes resources out of the 911 system, and it's kind of a one-size-fits-all scenario. So the agency over the past year or two has invited other non-emergency ambulance providers to provide this service. They're geared up and ready to go so that they can make individual agreements with those hospitals that fit their needs, so they are able to provide that service. The EOA will still be responsible for emergent ALS transfers, so transfers into a trauma center or STEMI center are still going to be provided by the new provider. There is an increase in the minimum ambulance hours because the Tracy area is now carved out as Zone Y. They're going to have to be more self-reliant and put more unit hours in the area to serve Mountain House and Tracy better. There's also provisions to penalize the provider if they use mutual aid excessively. So if they're not covering their area and requiring other ambulance services to come in and cover, there will be a penalty if that's excessive. The existing workforce will really not change because the current provider, AMR, will just seamlessly move into this new provision. The EOA will be managed, though, by the JPA. Those are the main changes and improvements to the San Joaquin County EMS system as it relates to the ambulance coverage that will be realized up for the next 10 years. This agreement is a 5-year term with an option for a 5-year extension. I've been working very closely with CenCal and AMR to ensure that we have a smooth transition as possible for the dispatch services and for the provisions of the emergency ambulance response and transport. I respectfully ask the board to strongly consider this approval and execution of this agreement, and available for any questions.
Any questions, board members? No? Sir?
I just want to say congratulations to all of you. How far we've come. This was not the conversation, Lou, we were having 15 years ago, or the fire chiefs, you know, even a few years back. Everybody's done an amazing, amazing job here, including yourself, and thank you.
Supervisor Garcia? Any questions, comments?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. You know, obviously, you know, I came from the fire service, and one of the biggest reasons why I ran for this position is my struggles with San Joaquin County and EMS for many years. I remember being the union president of Stockton Firefighters, and the county stripped us from our paramedic services for, seemed like 2 months, but it was roughly about a month. And we marched here and with about 150 firefighters across, you know, California to come here to talk about why would we prevent a service to our community based on a relationship with the county. And we've come a long ways. And I really feel that San Joaquin County, you know, as electeds, they always talk about public safety first. Well, that's not always true. It's always a great slogan when you want to get elected, but when you're actually sitting in the seat, when you make decisions that are gonna better our community, you know, it's proof is where the pudding is. And so I'm just proud of this county, and you know, this has been a lot of work. You know, this has been a labor management discussion with the chiefs, and labor's been involved in this from day one. You know, AMR has always worked really well with you know, I can speak for Stockton, has always worked well with Stockton Fire Department. You know, we've had a couple of our bumps in the roads, you know, in the roads over the years, but you know, it's great to see that AMR is partnering, you know, with our fire departments, and that, you know, really, honestly, I don't really see a lot of change. Obviously, whenever there's change, you're going to have a few hiccups, but this is a long time coming, and I think this is going to be a better service to our community. So thanks for all the hard work from everybody.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bagwell. Mayor Fugazi?
You've already said it. You know, we've been in a contentious relationship before, and here we are. We are going to be setting the bar here in the nation on how to get things right, where we have collaboration over competition. And we've been having these meetings. I sit on the SenCal board. We started March 3rd of last year, and we have gone a long way. And to see everybody working together is nothing short of, fantastic. Because, as it was said, I was here when everybody marched here. We had fire service, we had AMR, and I spoke then. And now it's very different. And this difference is a good thing. And again, like I said, we will be leading the nation here on how we can have these relationships, how we can form these JPAs to provide better service, to be more efficient, more reliable, as well as being able to recoup some of those costs that we haven't been able to before. And those costs are gonna help us to elevate the service that we're already, top in the nation for, I would like to say. But it is a move in the right direction, and I couldn't be happier to be a part of this program. So thank you, this relationship, thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody else from public want to speak on this item? Chief Bradley?
Chair Dollywall, members of the board, Randall Bradley, I'm the fire chief of the South San Joaquin County Fire Authority. A lot of my comments you've already made, and so I just want to, number one, thank you and tell you how much I appreciate this board and your leadership you provided from a public safety perspective. This is transformative. This will change the lives. This will save lives. This will reduce human suffering. The additional revenue that we'll receive for reimbursement for our costs will go directly back into these services. Better training, more ambulances on the street, and we believe that this is it's really the right thing to do, and it's been a long time coming. Three major things. Number one, dispatch. We've mentioned dispatch. Dispatching the ambulance and the fire engine from the same dispatchers on the same radio frequencies. And now our dispatchers will be able to talk to our ambulances and our fire engines, and our fire engines will be able to talk to our ambulances. On our tablets, we'll be able to see where the ambulances are and where the fire engines are. There'll be on-scene coordination between the two that we do not have right now. And we're excited about this. It is a game changer. It'll make a huge difference. And you know that this whole thing started about 8 years ago when an elderly lady in a skilled nursing facility on Easter morning died. And there were no ambulances in Tracy. And the fire engine was not allowed to respond to that emergency under the county rules and under state law. We worked with the labor group, we worked with our elected officials, and we had that law changed. We started, SB 438 was passed, and it really gave the fire agencies the authority. Supervisor Rickman was there at the hearings. We spoke, Chief Johnson spoke at the hearings, and we got the law changed. And that was really the impetus to get us to where we are today, to where now there's coordination, now there's collaboration, a change in the EMS agency's leadership, a different perspective on let's do this together. Let's bring the extra funds in. Let's start coordinating and cooperating with our fire agencies. And again, we had to have a change in approach also, where we had to embrace the county and their new perspective on trying to improve these service levels. So I just want to thank you. I know this feels a little administerial in nature, approving an RFP, but today is really historic for this county. We're creating something new. As the mayor stated, we're already getting calls from all across the country on how to replicate what we've done here in San Joaquin County. So I want to thank Stockton Fire Chief, the Lodi Fire Chief, incredible, the partnerships, the long hours, the works, the contracts, and definitely Jared Bagwell, just been incredible. And then last, I know I'm out of time, but really our partner AMR, they've stepped up and created a real good partnership. Lots of negotiations to get to where we are today. And one last one is really healthcare strategist. the consultant that you brought in, Lou Meyer, extremely balanced, excellent report, and he really provided you and the EMS agency the options to get us here today. So again, thank you on behalf of the fire chiefs. We think this is a really good thing, and years from now, you'll see SynCal on the side of ambulances, and you'll know that you had something to do with changing the trajectory of EMS in this county. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Members of the board, for the record, my name's Lou Meyer. I'm a senior consultant with Healthcare Strategist, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank the board for engaging our organization that included myself, a resident of San Joaquin County for many years. And what we have before you today, as the mayor commented on, is something that the nation is looking at. And I am proud to have been a part of that, but it would not have happened without the coordination of Jared Bagwell, the fire chiefs, and AMR. And I'll be watching from the sidelines as my agreement with the county expires when you drop the gavel on voting for this contract. So anyway, I thank you again, and thank you to everybody behind me in all the uniforms. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And Lou,
1 second.
may I, Chair?
Go ahead, sir.
I think Supervisor Gardia and I may have another little project for you. When you got this contract, I mean, for those of you who don't know, Lou Meyer was the head of AMR. And you can imagine when he got the contract, there was a little indigestion on behalf of some in the fire service. How is this, possibly going to work? You shocked people. Nobody could have done this in coordination without your experience in doing this. And I just really, really want to say thank you, Lou.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Supervisor Rickman? Oh, we do. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Ken Johnson, Lodi Fire Chief. Just want to get an opportunity to thank you guys for this collaboration that we've had over the past, 3 years. This has really been a labor of love between all three cities trying to represent a big issue. When we started off, it was all about lessening human suffering and getting ambulances to patients as quickly as possible. And as we started talking about this with our labor groups and with our elected officials, we saw there was a strong desire to answer this call. So over this past, 2 years, we've looked very closely at our system, and we saw opportunities to grow the system. And in the north part of the county, it was not uncommon for us to have a 30-minute ambulance response time. And we think we've solved that problem. So I wanted to thank the leadership of Jared Bagwell, his vision, his collaboration, my other two cities with Stockton and Tracy being willing to partner with us to solve this big problem. And I stand here committed to making this thing work. With our partnership with AMR, they have brought some strength to the system that we were able to realize before. With these other opportunities for federal drawdown dollars to help make the system more valuable, it's going to bring more resources to our community. And then I can't forget to mention our first responders who are out there every day in the field doing the work. We're going to make it safer for them. The communication piece, access to better equipment, better life-saving equipment, all around, it's going to make San Joaquin County a safer place. So I just thank you for bringing this before the board.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Supervisor Rickman.
Thank you, Chair. No, this is a long time coming, meaning I know we've been battling this, at least on our end, for 9 years. And, I just want to let the public know why this is so important and what we had experienced prior to this. And first of all, I'm going to thank you, Mr. Bagwell. Jared, you've been a breath of fresh air for our EMS department, so thank you for what you're doing. But just to expand on what Chief Bradley mentioned earlier, I was mayor at the time, get the call from Randy or Chief Bradley. I'm gonna call you Randy because it's easier. And so you had a lady at a nursing home who had shortness of breath. They call 911 and they dispatch an ambulance, even though our fire station was just a few miles down the road. A couple minutes later, they call back up again, hey, where are you guys? Now this individual's not breathing. And then they finally dispatched fire. So I think the total response time, and correct me if it's just an approximate time. By the time the 911 call until somebody got there was, 17 minutes or something, and unfortunately, this lady ended up passing away. And that wasn't the only case. And there was another case, another incident, I'm gonna say off of Durham Ferry, Casson Road, around that area. Again, it's been 9 years ago. And same scenario, 911, they dispatch ambulance, never dispatch fire, even though we have a fire station, right down the road. And again, this individual ended up passing away. And, myself, Chief Bradley, or Tracy firefighters, and a lot of Alice English, a lot of citizens, were absolutely, rightfully so, outraged on this. So, we ended up fighting. We tried to talk with the county, and the county, gave us deaf ears. Nothing changed. And this was a fight for over a year with the county. And again, county, refused to help us out. There would be times, now you think South County, one of the fastest growing parts of the county, Tracy's close to 100,000 people. Mountain House is growing. We wouldn't have an ambulance in South County. These ambulances were staged in Lathrop or Manteca or Stockton. And, you get a 911 call, and they would be coming from these areas. And of course, the response time, being what it would be, it was unacceptable. And I want to say thank you to, the senator from LA, was it Hertzberg,
Hertzberg, I think.
Hertzberg, Senator Hertzberg, for, taking up this bill, bringing it to the Capitol and fighting on behalf of our residents in South County and, of course, the state. And, it's amazing what can get done when, people, hey, I was told, hey, you can't fight. I was the mayor at the time. You can't fight the county. You're never going to win against the county. And, and that it's never going to pass the state. And we worked with our state firefighters. We went to bring it up to the Capitol, and we changed the law. Little old San Joaquin County ended up changing the law to be better for the state. So what this does is make sure that when people call 911, that they have an ambulance on the way. It's not going to be stationed in Stockton, and it has to come to, south or north part of the county. And better service, right? We talk about public safety, a priority. This has been a priority since day one, fighting the system, and we're here today and for the better. And I agree with Chief Bradley that, as we said before, this is going to save lives. I mean, that's one thing that affects us all, right? If one of us gets hurt or a loved one gets hurt or there's, God forbid, a crash, a motor vehicle crash, or whatever it may be, that when you pick up the phone, dial 911, somebody is going to be on the way. Not in 20 minutes, not in 15 minutes or 17 minutes, but, as fast as humanly possible. So, Jared, thank you for what you've done since you came on board as, the head of the EMS, and you're doing a hell of a job, or excuse me, a heck of a job. And, and thank you, to our fire chief, but especially, Chief Bradley, for, pushing this in the very beginning. So, again, thank you.
We have an exceptional opportunity right now in time where there's leadership on all ends seem to be on the same page. There has been a shift, an approach on the collaboration side of it. So very happy to be part of it.
Anybody else? Thank you, sir. Board members, do we have a motion?
Chairman,
Yes, sir. Question? One second. Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure that, you know, as I'm fighting against the county didn't help us out at all. And it wasn't these people here. So it was different folks. So I just want to make that clear.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi, thank you. Board Chair, members of the board. My name is Eric Dehart. I'm the Fire Chief of Ripon Consolidated Fire. First, I do want to congratulate all members of SenCal. They have definitely put together a very good program that I do think is going to improve the services here in San Joaquin County. There is unfortunately an unintended consequence to the Ripon Fire District, which I represent. Ripon Fire is probably, we're definitely the unicorn in the county where we not only have provide fire service, but we also provide an ambulance, which we have since 1973. So as this moves forward, the plan is that all ambulances will be dispatched out of Stockton Fire, which will require my ambulance to move there. From what I understand, all costs will be covered through the SenCal contract, so there's really no issues there. The problem lies in with my fire engine. So I'm currently dispatched out of a different dispatch center. We're there, we've been there now for a couple of decades, something we have put a lot of money into in the infrastructure with plans of being a part of it for generations to come. So if things stay the way they are, I will receive two bills. I'll receive one from SenCal for dispatching my ambulance, one from VREC for dispatching my engine. So that's not going to work. That's going to double my dispatch fees, which is going to be hard for us to absorb. Our other alternative will be to move our fire dispatching over to Stockton. The services there are more expensive, so my costs will go up no matter which of the two options that we choose. There's going to be some infrastructure there which will have to be taken care of. If you've ever been a part of a program like that, it is pretty complex and there's a lot of costs and work that has to be done that we will have to encumber on this. I do believe there is a third option, and it does not affect, in my opinion, the operations of everything, and that is to allow Ripon to carve out and stay where we are. It does not mess with the overall system. We don't travel to the north very often, as you heard from the testimonies. There's more cars available, so in theory, even the request from Ripon to go that way should even be less than what they are now, which I said was pretty minimal. So I'm out of time, and unless you have any questions, that's basically just what I wanted to bring up.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Yes, sir.
So what would happen if VREC pulled out of our area anyways? What would be your option?
I'm sorry, if VREC.
If let's say VREC no longer provided dispatch services, you really wouldn't have a choice anyways.
To fire or ambulance?
Fire and ambulance.
To my knowledge, and we've had extensive conversations with VREC and AMR, they have no plans to go anywhere. So we have not been, as a JRUG body, we have not been told that there's any issues there.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chief Carr?
Take my turn.
Jared.
Got to figure out how to turn it on.
It's on.
It's on. Thank you. I didn't want to be outdone. I apologize. I think Chief Bradley and Chief Johnson hit the nail on the head. We're super excited about this partnership. I do want to throw something out, and without getting into negotiations here in open session, but when the county is talking about supporting fire in the county, I think one area that we could look at is potentially at dispatching. I think our system is not only going to be better now with the ambulance transport all in one center like it is currently and all moving to Stockton Regional. I think for some of our firefighter safety, I think our communication can be better in the county. And I don't personally like us having the 2 dispatch centers. And so if the county was ever looking at an ability to provide some funding, it might be an opportunity with some of these fire districts, as Chief DeHart mentioned. On my end, I'm very much willing to be at the table and make things work. What's best for the county, the citizens, the community members, and what's best for our firefighters and first responders. And my fear is that someday we have something bad happens because we have 2 dispatch centers trying to communicate with each other, with multiple crews on scene, with different fire departments, talking to different dispatchers, and something happens. So I throw that out. I think if we, moving forward, I think there's an opportunity for us to collaborate with the county and with some of the fire districts. I will tell you right now, the Stockton Regional Fire Dispatch Center dispatches 90% of the fire calls, fire and medical, not ambulance, but fire and medical in this county. Come May 1st, we will dispatch 100% of all ambulance transport calls in this county, and we will still be dispatching 90% of the fire and medical calls. It's that remaining 10% that Chief DeHart is referring to. I'm more than amenable to talking to our districts about cost that are practical for them. And I think having everybody in one dispatch center is the way to move forward. So I throw that out there as a future item that we'd be happy to discuss. I really want to thank you again for supporting CenCal and for all the work that's been done. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of it and along for the ride. And now all the hard work starts. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Supervisor Rickman?
Thank you, Chairman. And just want to have Jared, I guess I shouldn't be calling people by their first name, Mr. Bagwell. So you heard about the Ripon chief. So what's your response to that? And secondly, this RFP, this just covered ambulance, right? Not fire.
Correct. The RFP was for ambulance service only, ambulance dispatch. We don't have any authority over the fire departments and where they do their dispatch from. Chief DeHart, makes a good point. This is unintended consequences, but decentralizing ambulance dispatch is just unsafe because just as Chief Carr mentioned, you have 2 different dispatch centers. You need help. Calls get dropped. Technology fails. We see that as a risk.
Right, but that's the ambulance side. The fire side, we can't compel anybody for.
Correct, yeah, that's unfortunately.
At least under the document.
Under this RFP was ambulance and ambulance dispatch only. It had nothing to do with fire department. So he is in a unique situation.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Board members, if there are not any more questions or discussion needed, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve resolution?
Second.
We have a motion and second. Call for vote, please. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's discuss consent calendar. Rochelle, there are some items that needs to be pulled.
That's correct, Chair. At the request of Human Resources, consent item number 16, approval of a second amendment to agreement with Comp Health. Consent item number 22, an agreement with Barton Associates. And consent item number 23, the appointment of the federally qualified health centers project director is requested to be pulled at this time, and it'll come back to the board at a later date.
Thank you. 16, 22, and 23.
Yeah.
Board members, any other item needs to be pulled? You good? Vice Chair?
6.
Number 6. And I'll poll number 5. Mr. Excellent, sir, can you please share some information about the event in May?
Good morning, Chair Dollywall, Supervisors.
I'm here as the American Legion Post 249 Foundation Board Chair. And along with the city of Manteca, we're working to put on or bring back the Memorial Weekend that Pastor Dillman did previously. It's been something we've been missing for about 4 or 5 years, and the people in the city really want it back. And so we've come together and we're working together to make this event as big as it once was. So it's quite a large event. We have begun all of the process for it. We have helicopters flying in. We're working trying to get the Army and Air Force bands there. We are getting crosses made. We're getting memorials put together. So we are going to have a 3-day event that will make our city, county, state, and country proud. We are billing it for Manteca as Manteca, the most patriotic city west of the Mississippi. And I believe that we're going to show that with the 3-day memorial event that we're doing. We couldn't be more excited about it. Supervisor Dollywall has been a big proponent of us bringing this back, and so we are very proud to be doing this.
Thank you, sir, and we would love to have our colleagues, our board members there. It's a Saturday, Sunday, and Monday event.
Yes, it will be Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, we're starting off with a 5K run. We will have a Huey helicopter flying in. Saturday, we'll have a beer garden and bands going. We're going to have a kids center. And probably for the veterans, for us veterans, one of the centerpieces will be a Patriot Pavilion. And we're working on getting the VA from the Richard Pittman Clinic, getting the VA vans and buses out there so that veterans that come in that want to find out how they can get some services will have that accessibility to those services there. And then Sunday we will have a huge car show, 200 plus vehicles in the car show. We're going to have some bands in the evening and culminate Sunday night with a big drone show. And we're using a band with the drone show because drones don't make much noise. So instead of just watching them fly around, we're going to have a band playing while they're doing that. And then Monday we will have a commemorative day on Monday, Memorial Day, where we have a few speakers and honor those that have fallen for our country.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. Vice Chair Ding, number 6.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and pass on 6, the guest that has already left.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, sir. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Accept 16, 22, and 23. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion as you,
That's your
except
motion.
for those
Okay.
3.
Thank you. And that's your second, right? Call for vote, please. Motion passes 4-0. At this time, we will recess the supervisors' meeting. And we have the board will be acting as governing body of the San Joaquin Flood Control and Water Conservation District. Is there any staff report? No? Any questions? Board members, do we have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second that. Call for vote, please.
Supervisor Dean.
Motion passes 4-0. Now the board will reconvene as the Board of Supervisors. And next item is from Supervisor Ding. Discuss adopting a resolution to codify SB 255 county recorder notification into county law to address real estate fraud.
And
Sir?
if I could have Steve Bestelrides. There he is. and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm going to stall a little bit. I've just got off the phone with District Attorney Freitas, and he should be running in here shortly. But I will just kind of give a little bit of background. This has been a collaborative project with the District Attorney's Office to fight real estate fraud. This started in 2013. District Attorney Willett came before the board and got his fee increased for a full-time position. So the District Attorney's Office has been diligently pursuing fraud since day one. We got into the process of providing information, and what we do is every recording that's done is we take all that data, disseminate it, send it down to the mail room where the district attorney's envelopes are ready to go, and we have a process in place where we're mailing this within 30 days out to the people, and it just has recently expanded in March to include mortgages. So before it was real estate transactions, and now it's mortgages. Again, before he comes, the recorder's office is a relatively unknown part of what we do with the county. It's really important. And I just want to name a few notable things that don't really have to do with this, but we're connected very closely with the realtors. We provide a lot of data to the private sector. And as a matter of fact, we just made an appointment yesterday with CVAR and Tracy. We've gone to speak to them before about pertinent issues, Prop 19, supplemental tax bills, because part of what we do is educating, and we really need to improve on that. But there's some things that are sort of taken for granted. We had a energy, the county went dark a few years ago. We still recorded every real estate transaction. The most recent train derailment, we still recorded every real estate transaction. We did find out some weak spots. We had to turn some people away on passports because of the lack of lighting to take the photographs. But our staff was here till 5:30 in the afternoon, doors open, taking care of our customers. Probably one of the most notable things that we did as well, that an individual, Teresa Williamson, who actually is the manager of the recorder's office, the federal holiday that President Trump gave our employees and staff time off, the recorder's office still recorded 89 real estate transactions. 89 people got their keys to their house, and we're just very sensitive that this industry drives much of what we do, and it's an economic engine for the county. So, humbly, these are we appreciate the recognition, because what we do is kind of always behind the scenes, and the collaborative effort with the district attorney's office has just been amazing. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, one of the reasons I put this on the agenda, and Mr. Bestler has just said it humbly, and I think he's being a little too humble. The fact of the matter is, our office here in San Joaquin County have been performing this service long before they decided to make a state bill here this last year, because when I called him, I said, this is, great. This will stop the mortgage fraud and everything that's going on that every time I turn on the TV, you got to, pay LifeLock, $100 to make sure they don't steal your mom's title or what have you. Bestler-Eady's office was already doing this. And so to me now, it's another warning to seniors out there as well. These 1-800, call LifeLock, send $100 here, we will protect you. It's another way of taking money from our seniors. And Mr. Bestler has made sure they're already protected. So I wanted to say thank you. You move quietly, you do your job. But every once in a while, darn it, somebody's got to say thank you. You do an exceptional job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Supervisor Rickman, then Supervisor Gardia.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to correct one thing. President Trump didn't give our employees days off this board, and our CEO,
Yeah.
and Rochelle
Correct.
DeVore, and our attorney, and our HR.
So corrected. Thank you.
Secondly, you mentioned in the email or this board letter sent by sent by mail. Is that certified?
The district
Al?
attorney's office, I do not think it's certified now.
Why isn't that something we should? I mean, you may pass on a little bit more funding, but I mean, for mail, I mean, if you really want to, because we had that issue with the tax that was here, and the person said they weren't notified and so on. Wouldn't it be better to have something to make sure that they're actually getting that, have somebody sign for it, so that we know that person got it? If we're
Yeah.
going through all this trouble?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a question.
He asked a question about certified mail. We send it regular mail, correct?
Yes, Chairman Dollywald, Administrator Regalo, members of the board. Thank you for this opportunity to talk about this great partnership that we have between the District Attorney's Office and the Recorder's Office. I literally go nowhere in the public and someone does reach out to me and thank me for this type of information. What they generally find that this is not fraud. This is actually some action that they've taken upon themselves and have initiated and didn't realize the consequences that it resulted in a filing. This partnership has gone on since District Attorney Jim Willett, and we've had a great response on this. The question you bring about certified mail, I think that would be an opportunity, that there would be something that we could do. But at this point, we haven't seen the need, and we haven't been contacted so much by people saying we didn't get this type of information. So our outreach has been very, very effective. And we would revisit it should we see that people weren't getting this information and it wasn't coming forward to them. But I think at this time, it wouldn't be necessary to use certified mail.
All right, thank you. Hey, I just wanted to throw it out there. I know if somebody try to quit claim my house or whatever it may be, and, I want to make sure I'm notified, and, I think everybody else was. So, hey, if you're not having any problems with it, I trust,
Yes, if someone tries to
I
quick
trust
claim
you.
your house, we would like to have you notified. And we do find that people are notified. In fact, what we actually find is that we may get an abundance of real estate fraud claims, and then people not realizing that this is actually legitimate actions or actions that they've initiated upon themselves, having this type of consequences at the recorder's office. So we tend to get more false claims of fraud than actual claims. But as for actual claims, this is a major problem that we have in our community. Clearing the title on some of these can take years, and that we work together and are quickly alerted to it and can take action through our investigation, education, and early intervention policies. This is a program that you should be very proud of, and we thank the board for this partnership and being able to do this.
No, I want to say thank you both. And, having a home, I mean, that's the biggest investment that majority of us have. And, I couldn't imagine, finding out something like this happened to an individual, and the attorney fees that you would probably tens of thousands of dollars in, fees that people can't afford. So, thank you guys for doing what you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Supervisor Gardia?
Yeah, I think anytime you get a notice from the DA, it's probably, you kind of think bad things. And I recently had a real estate transaction, and I received a letter, and it was from the DA, and I'm like, oh, crap, what's going on now? Am I, grand jury or whatever, what's going on? But I was relieved, actually, that I got a notice that showed that the transaction was legit, because I mean, every day we're being exposed to all kinds of different fraud, through your cell phone and apps, and credit cards, ATMs and things like that. So it's a relief that we're actually doing a good job to educate our community that we're out there protecting them. So I think I firsthand have been part of this whole thing, and I think it was a really good thing.
Thank you, Supervisor Gardia. You bring up a very good point. People are kind of alarmed at first, and then when they open it up and see there isn't a subpoena inside of it, they're very relieved. So that does seem to be the effect. But generally what we do find is that people have taken some action with their property, not realizing that it would have consequences at the recorder's office, and then they've been alerted to what they've done. And that they found out that this check is in place and is working very, very effectively. It's a service our county provides, our two agencies that you provide to our constituents that is very much appreciated. And I was checking with my colleagues this morning. Not all the counties are doing this, hence the law of the SB 255. That we've been doing this, we've been doing it for at least a dozen years. And when there is fraud, we now have resources to do investigations, have forensic accountings, expert testimony, do the investigations and do them right, and have a real estate fraud unit up in place. Really puts us ahead of the game. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm surprised one of my colleagues hadn't brought this up, but will that bill provide any type of funding?
Well, we're already receiving funding right now. So I believe right now we get $8 for every filing. There's room to increase that to $10 per filing, and we have a pretty substantial balance right now that we're maintaining. So it doesn't appear necessary for us to ask for the additional $2, but we will let the board know should that arise.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Just to that issue, on the bill, it's in the bill itself in Section 3, it does address it insofar as it says if the Commission on State Mandates determines that this act contains costs mandated by the state, reimbursement to local agencies and school districts for those costs will be made pursuant to Part 7, commencing with Section 17500 of Division 4 of Title II of the Government Code. So it remains to be seen what the Commission on State Mandates determines as to whether or not it's something for which we get reimbursement.
Thanks. Anybody else?
I'd like to make a motion to pass the resolution to codify it into county law.
So moved.
We have a motion. Did you, Supervisor recommend you have the second? Sure, that's good. Okay. Call for vote, please. Motion passes 4-0. County Council, we only have one more item left. Is there anybody waiting, or should we knock it out?
No, there's no one waiting for us, and I don't anticipate a reportable action coming out of closed session.
Okay, we are cruising. Next is approve amendment to adopted 2025 state and federal legislative regulatory platforms and policy guidelines. Hillary?
Good morning, Chair Dollywall, board members, Council Kiernan, Clerk DeBoard, CAO Regalo. I'm Hillary Crowley, Senior Deputy County Administrator and Legislative Officer. Presented for your approval are mid-session updates to the state and federal legislative platform and policy guideline. We are at the midway point of the 119th Congress and 2025-26 state legislative sessions. Departments and our advocacy firms were invited to make suggested additions, deletions, or edits to the board-approved platforms and policy guidelines back in October. There were no recommended edits to the federal platform, and our purchasing department was the only one with a suggested addition to the state platform. Their item relates to modernizing how we publicize bid notifications. The only other changes was to leadership updates on both platforms and policy guidelines. So if there are no questions, I look forward to your board's approval.
Thank you. Any questions? Supervisor Rickman?
Oh, well, I didn't have anything, but thanks for thinking of me.
I always think.
Just real quick, on our state platform, we have cost of living in there, right? Is it, can we, I'm just trying to think, can we make it more, or is it general enough to encompass a lot of different aspects that could be raising the cost of living for our residents here in San Joaquin County? I mean, you know, we have, of course, PG&E, we talked about vehicle mileage tax, but there's other possible like, I don't know, I don't want to say too much, but something that would encompass the cost of living in all aspects versus just, you know, the big three, you know. Does that make sense?
It does, and I'm with you. I understand where you're going with that, and through the chair, Supervisor. And what we did when we reformatted these last time was add in things like CARB and CPUC to cover those regulatory bodies that are outside of legislative process. We did also add, like number 9. I didn't bring I can't do a search on it because I brought paper. But, you know, number 9 we added to address impacts from the federal government. So it's not explicit HR1 because this time next year it's going to be something else. So like we were vague enough to oppose attempts by, like, I don't mean to read, but legislature and or executive branch to shift costs from the state to the county for mandated and or non-mandated programs or attempts to restrict revenue resources or impose costly programs changing without adequate funding. That doesn't get to your specific question of cost of living.
Well, that's fine. You know, we can, you know, I'm not going to sit here and waste my colleagues' time here, but that's something we can talk to offline. And if it doesn't reach our strategic platform, it's something we can just bring to the board as a separate item and get approval that way.
Supervisor, now is the time. So, I mean, I'm happy to, you know, could be just discussion and not a request for approval, and we could put it back on the agenda after we discuss this.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you prefer.
Yeah, we'll
Happy to do that.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Vice Chair Dean?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, thank you for everything you do. It's much appreciated. Where are you going? I was talking to you.
Hey, I do the same thing with
I'm
Supervisor
sitting here
Dean.
heaping praise on you, and you just get up and walk away.
Supervisor.
Till
Okay.
my first marriage ended.
Fine.
Anyway, the 16-bed cap, is that specifically in here?
I'm ready, through the chair. Supervisor, I'm ready for that question from you. Yes, because you called this out last.
Because we're, you know, after Director Valentine and we'll be going back to DC the last weekend, 20th, and we've already secured meetings with HHS and so, but I just want to make sure anybody that's going back from the county, it's one of those issues that'll probably do more to dramatically change the effective behavioral health than anything else they've done, but it's not sexy enough. And these politicians, they nod their head, no, yeah, they're with you, but they're really not fighting, and they don't understand the impact on our new Be Well campus and projects throughout the country. So I just want to make sure it is highlighted. So,
Page 5, number 33. We specifically list the 16-bed, what is it, Institute for Mental Disease. We name check it, number 33.
Thank you, and I knew you did. I just wanted to make sure you got credit for it. Thank you.
Happy to serve the board.
Anybody else? Do we have a motion? Anybody from the public? Sorry.
You'll bring it back?
We'll bring it back, Chair.
Are we going to bring it back?
Right.
Yes, through the chair. So Hillary will work with Supervisor Rickman's office to make sure that everything's addressed. And then I think she said she would bring it back.
All right.
So no direction needed? I think,
Well, we still got to approve it, don't we? Isn't that what the?
Not if you want to change it.
Well, I mean, at a later date, when we're approving it now, right?
Through
It doesn't matter.
Through the chair, Supervisor, we do this every year, so I'll be.
Okay, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
So, Rochelle, no motion needed?
Motion
Okay,
to approve, yeah.
Yeah, they said no motion needed. All good? Okay, thank you.
You're such a team player.
I think we got everything done so far, right, Rochelle?
That's correct, Chair, if you want to do board comments at this time and then adjourn to closed session.
Okay, that way we don't have to come back. Any comments, questions? I'll start from my left.
Yeah, well, hey, it's been busy. Make sure, it's crab feed season, so, a lot of nonprofits doing their crab feeds and chipino feeds and shrimp feeds and so on. So, hey, if you can afford it, it's usually a good time and help the local nonprofits. Just want to say Happy Valentine's Day. That's coming up, so make sure you shop and, dine local. Help our small businesses. And it's a funny story because I came in this morning and I had like a half a dozen roses on my desk, and I was like, it's not from my wife, and it was from Supervisor Gardia. So, Gardia, thank you, appreciate it, and you're a good guy. That's it, Chair.
Thank you, sir. Vice Chair Ding?
Yeah, I just cannot say it enough, and I just, one more time, Jared Bagwell, holy Toledo, it's amazing, and this is, a shout out to leadership, Sandy, all the way down. You take the handcuffs off your people, you give them a long leash and let them go, and what Jared Bagwell and the whole team pulled off is absolutely amazing.
Thank you, sir. Supervisor Gardia?
Being in this seat for just 1 year, I go way back with the fire service, and I think in government, you're put in a position to make, create policy and make decisions that are going to better suit your community and actually see something go through and be successful, because a lot of times we work hard on stuff and we're just not successful in getting them pushed through and getting the collaboration from everybody to push something that's huge and it's going to save people's lives. And that partnership is what, you hear it from me a lot, teamwork is everything. So there's definitely that teamwork that's been involved in getting this partnership with Transport Services is huge. I didn't leave any roses. I left some chorizo bake up there, but he didn't want to eat any because he hears that chorizo grows hair. So, but I will say that there are definitely a lot of nonprofit functions out there right now, and it's tough for us to make them all. I feel like I've gained about 10 pounds in the last couple of weeks, so I've eaten at many craft feeds, and so don't know how to stop. But I think the biggest thing is that, man, just get out in your community and see what our community has to offer. There's a lot of great things that are going on in San Joaquin County, and if you sit in your bubble and you don't get out, you don't get to see the good things that happen here. So that's pretty much get out there and enjoy. Good weather is coming.
Thank you, sir. I just want to say thanks, everyone, for being here. Thank you, staff, for everything you guys do. It makes our job easier. We had Valentine's Day is coming up in 4 days. Happy Valentine's Day. We had Valentine's Day last year, I think September. Thank you, Genevieve. I drive at least twice I-5 and it feels so good to see that construction going. So appreciate it. We will recess to closed session at this time.
And it is 11:55.
Huh? Cruise control.